It wasn't until the phenomenon that was the very first Guitar Hero that music games really became one of the driving forces of the gaming industry. The advent of Rock Band took the genre in a more involved direction, adding vocals and drums, but there hasn't been much to change the game since then, until now. Admittedly, I was skeptical of DJ Hero when it was first announced. Guitar Hero managed to capture lightning in a bottle, and even though the market has since been flooded with follow-ups, I wasn't sure the masses were ready for a game devoted to such a niche aspect of the music industry. I felt like Activision was going out on an extremely fragile limb. After setting up my faux turntable and starting the game up, I can unashamedly admit that not only is DJ Hero a good game, but I'm also enjoying the hell out of it.
If you're zooking it, you're doing what I originated many years ago, and you're gonna have to pick up on some new skills before you hit the club.
Eschewing traditional controllers for a unique peripheral that better emulates real DJ equipment, DJ Hero provides you with a scratch pad and mixer. The scratch pad is both fun and frustrating to use. It's not that it's difficult to work, it's that there's just not enough resistance on the turntable. Don't get me wrong, it in no way ruins the fun you'll have pretending to be a mixmaster. But during more difficult scratching sections, the amount of slack in the wheel becomes more obvious. On the mixer, you'll find your fader, pitch modulator, and euphoria activator. While there's a bit of leeway in regards to pushing the lever all the way in either direction when crossing back and forth between tracks, there are times when the switch can be a bit sensitive and won't register the fact that you flicked it to the correct side. Again, this issue only really happens during more hectic moments, so it doesn't mar the experience much. The Euphoria activator is simply a button above the fader. It's easy to locate when in the middle of a complicated mashup, and thankfully, the game doesn't make you do something silly like tilting the table in order to activate Euphoria, DJ Hero's version of star power. Once you've got your equipment set up, it's time to start up your single-player career. The game opens with a mandatory tutorial that teaches you the basics of freestyle and directional scratching, crossfading, changing the pitch, Euphoria, and the rewind feature. Spinning the turntable backwards a full 360 degrees activates rewind, allowing you to replay a brief section of the song. I like the feature, but the game doesn't allow you to use rewind when playing with a friend, online, or during the guitar team-ups. It seems like there could have been a way to allow such a cool feature to be implemented in those aspects, and the lack of rewind in those modes actually makes them less interesting to play. If you've ever played a hero game, you know that the main aspect of the game comes down to hitting the colored buttons in time with when their on-screen indicator reaches a particular point on the note highway. Here, not only will you have to hit buttons in time, but you'll also have to pay attention for key sections where you'll be asked to scratch. Freestyle scratching allows you to flick the turntable in whatever direction you choose. Once you step up to either hard or expert difficulty, directional scratching comes into play. Scratch segments will require you to spin the record up or down depending on which arrow indicator is showing. The difficulty scale between the first three tiers and the two hardest seems a bit skewed. Directional scratching should have been introduced gradually during hard. I'm not saying that the difficulty should have been toned down, but the jump from medium to hard is much greater than that of hard to expert. Fortunately, there's no way to fail a song in DJ Hero. Unlike either Guitar Hero or Rock Band, which end a song if you're not performing well enough, DJ Hero simply drops the music out for a few seconds before picking a track back up again. Not ever failing a track is both good and bad. No matter what, you're always guaranteed to get at least 1 star. Unlocking anything in the game, be it new set lists, new characters, costumes, or decks, is done by earning a set amount of stars. Continually doing poorly and earning only 1 or 2 stars on songs not only means you won't be earning any of the unlockables, but it also prevents you from getting very far in the career. But it should be up to the player to determine what his difficulty limit is. The game should provide a challenge with consequences, not be holding your hand the entire time. Just about everyone I know has pretended to scratch imaginary turntables at some point in their lives, and this game does an excellent job of conveying the feeling of DJing without having any actual skill. There are more than 90 mixes utilizing more than 100 different songs for you to orchestrate, some of which are more interesting than others. Like any music game, there are going to be some songs that you don't care for, but with the overwhelming amount of songs in the game, there's probably something here for everyone. While it's true that a fair amount of the songs reappear in later mixes, each track has its own identity and will feel completely different from the last time you heard one of the 2 songs a given track consists of. My only true gripe with DJ Hero's gameplay is that every single aspect of a track is predetermined. There's hardly any improvisation allowed in the game whatsoever. Yes, you can use the rewind and change pitches, but only when the game says you can. Repeat plays of the same mixes are going to play out nearly identical to the last time you played them. It really is cool getting to scratch a record, but once you realize that scratch happens because the developers thought it would sound good in that spot, and not because you just felt like scratching, a little of the magic disappears. Granted, there has to be some sort of structure there to make it a game, but honestly, would it have been that hard to include a completely freestyle game mode? Once you've had your fill of the single player, there are a few different ways to play with a friend. If you know someone who also bought the game, you can play against one another on any of the game's set lists. Whoever gets the highest score wins. It's pretty standard, and you'll have the exact same option when playing online. The only other option you'll have when playing with a second person involves a guitar peripheral, pending you or someone you know having one. There are 10 songs in the game that allow one person to play DJ, while the other plays along with the guitar part of the rock song being mixed. The results are so-so, with many of the guitar tablatures not feeling as tight as they do in Guitar Hero, which is odd considering Activision publishes both titles. There's actually much to be said about the game's presentation. Playable characters are nicely rendered and come with a multitude of different looks. Even the characterized versions of the real-life DJs like Grandmaster Flash and DJ Jazzy Jeff look great, fitting in perfectly with the unique style of DJ Hero's world. The different locales at which you'll be violating vinyl are brought to life with music video camera angles, eye-popping light shows, and go-go dancers galore. Pretty much everything on screen looks great, provided you're not looking at the crowd. Full of generic shadows moving their arms in sync, the fans on the floor bring absolutely nothing to the game. Obviously, the sound mixes are spot on. I didn't notice a single section where something didn't sound right or wasn't in place.
Just bust the move. Here's a jam for all the fellas. Try to do what those ladies tell us.
While I won't go so far as to call DJ Hero the greatest thing to happen to music games since the first Guitar Hero, it certainly is one of the more exciting things to happen to the genre. DJ Hero explores the one avenue left vacant since Beatmania, and not only provides a game that breathes a bit of life into a genre that had started growing stale, but one that's also a hell of a lot of fun to play, in spite of the steep price tag. There aren't really a lot of places left to take music games, and outside of actually teaching you how to play, I'm not sure how many more new aspects we're going to see in music games. Right now though, I'm not really worried about it. I've got a Daft Punk set to play, and I can't think of anything else I'd rather be doing. Thanks for watching, and be sure to check out the full text review on Gamervision.com.
Bust the move. You're on a mission. Someone to cure your lonely condition. Looking for love.